A man named Jay is living happily with his family. In his family, he has a wife and 2 younger daughters. He is going abroad for some work for a few days, but his family is very upset by this. He tells his family that he is going to return soon, and then they will spend a lot of time together. Meanwhile, a stranger is watching from the window outside Jay's house. Jay hears footsteps from outside the house, but he ignores it. After some time, he notices that the main door is open, which was previously closed, and realizes that the voice he heard earlier was that of a thief who had broken into his house. He then hears his wife screaming. When he rushes to the kitchen, he finds her bleeding and unconscious. Panicking, he rushes to get his daughter, who is hiding under the bed. The girl is scared. Jay asks her to come out, but the stranger comes and attacks Jay, and he faints. In the next scene, Jay wakes up with his face covered. When he removes it, he finds himself in a large basement with handcuffs in his hands, indicating that the stranger kidnapped him. He wasn't alone here. 3 more people, including a lady named Kat, a security guard named Adam, and a man who is severely injured, are also trapped here. These 4 individuals don't know each other. The kidnapper removed the injured man's skin from his body and stitched his mouth shut, trying to make him silent. Maybe he knows the kidnapper's identity, and he doesn't want him to tell anyone. He is merely lying in the corner, terrified as a living corpse. Jay asks Kat and Adam who the kidnapper would be. Why did he kidnap them, and why is he keeping them here? They don't know anything about it either. They say that the kidnapper wants to torture them like he tortured the injured man, but in reply, Jay yells back, "I'm a good human, and I haven't done anything wrong in my life to deserve punishment. This should not be happening to me." After a few hours, the light blinks, indicating that the kidnapper is coming. When the kidnapper shows up, he throws a piece of meat from a small tree for them to eat. The cat quickly picks it up, divines it, and then throws it towards the garden. Jay avoids eating meat while claiming that he is a vegetarian and only eats veggies. Others say they only get this to eat. The injured guy can't eat anything, so the kidnapper gives him injections to keep him alive. Jay then thinks of somehow escaping from this place. However, Kat and Adam stayed, don't care, and have lost hope because they had already tried and failed multiple times. Jay begins to scratch the wall, but as he does so, his nails peel off and he screams in pain. As a result, he realizes that the main entrance is the only way out of this place. He then tries to scratch the ground and discovers a bone and a skeleton. Seeing the camera, he thinks that the kidnapper is enjoying watching them suffer. Jay then starts abusing him and saying bad things about him. Adam tries to stop him because if the kidnapper becomes furious, it won't be good for them. He won't spare anyone and will kill them all, but Jay ignores him and carries on. Finally, the kidnapper becomes furious and immediately comes there. The kidnapper was named Dominic. Jay has a plan to run after beating the kidnapper, but when he shows up, he is shocked to see how strong and muscular he is. He wears a leather mask to cover his face, which looks like someone's flesh. Jay was scared but bravely asked Dominic where his family is. Are they all right, or has he done something to them? Dominic doesn't answer him and just stares at him silently. He then brings the injured man into the center, forces Kat to use his knife to cut the injured man's skin from his belly, and gives it to him. She does as he says, as she has no other option, because the man is already severely injured, and he then sends her back. He then throws the knife at Jay and asks him to do the same, but Jay picks up the knife and attacks Dominic. He moves away just in time, and Jay fails in his attack. Dominic then attacks him with his elbow. In Jay's act, he decides to punish Kat, so he holds her face and calls Adam. He asks him to put an 18-centimeter long pipe in her mouth. He then puts a mass-eating insect in her mouth, along with a blade through the pipe. The insect is stuck in Kat's throat, and she is feeling pain and can't breathe. After a while, her mouth starts bleeding, and the insect comes out. Jay holds the blade while crushing the insect. He tries to cut his rope with the blade, but Adam warns him not to do that. Otherwise, next time, the punishment will be even worse. Jay doesn't listen to him and cuts his rope. When Dominic arrives, Jay pushes him and runs out, but unfortunately, all the doors to go out of this house were locked. He is unable to escape, so he climbs into the ventilation shaft, but the shaft is broken, and he falls down. He wakes up again, lying in the room, tied up by a huge chain. Dominic enters the room again to punish Jay. He hands a key to Adam and unlocks his handcuffs. He then gives him a hammer and 2 nails, and tells him to smash them into Jay's hands so that he can't escape. Adam does the same, and Jay faints. When he wakes up, he discovers that his hands are bound to the wall with nails, causing him a lot of pain. He feels pain but manages to free his hands from the nails. After a while, he takes a deep breath and says that there must be a connection between them and the kidnapper, and that is why he is torturing them. However, they can't remember anything. What do they have in common, and what wrong have they done to him? Hearing them, the injured man tries to say something as if he knows what happened. He marks something on the sand with his finger. He then pulls his stitches open, tearing his lips. He only uses the phrase horseshoe, which is an iron object fastened in a horseshoe. As he was injured, he suffered a lot of pain and died hearing the word horseshoe. Jay is shocked when he understands the connection between the men and the kidnapper. The scene shifts 20 years back, where we see Jay going on a vacation with his family. He meets 3 friends in the forest, and these are the same people who are locked in the basement with him. Adam, the injured guy, and Kat. Then Jay tells them the true story of a farmhouse in this forest. The farmer lives there, and his wife died a few years ago. He's gone crazy ever since. Even after removing removing his son's skin. He kept him in his farmhouse jail and tortured him. One day, he killed his son with a sharp axe. It is also said that the farmer is still alive and still lives in his farmhouse. Jay claims that the farmer is wandering around in the forest looking for his next victim, but the kids don't believe his story. Then a boy named Dominic shows up, who later becomes the kidnapper in the story. He tells them that he came here to spend holidays with his family too and wants to be their friend, but they don't accept him as a friend and choose to tease him instead. They say that if you want to join our group, you must complete a few dares and do as they say. Dominic accepts, and Kat then requests that he keep an insect in his mouth. Adam covers his mouth with his hand, and Dominic is forced to swallow the bug. Kat then puts a spider on his head. The spider moves on his face and bites him. He feels pain and tries to run while screaming, but they are still there and hold him. Later, he is tied to the ground. Adam puts several insects all over his face. He is helpless. They warned him that if any bugs moved into his eyes, they would eat his brain. They were laughing and making fun of him, and they were so mean that they left him in this situation. Dominic returns the next day, and his parents are arguing. He feels hungry. He goes out of the van, and then he sits aside. Kat shows up and sits with him. She notices a mark on his hand that looks like a horseshoe. She then takes him to an old farmhouse and traps him. Her friends also come and ask Dominic to go inside the farmhouse. This is where the crazy farmer lives, whose story Jay was telling about. They say, if you will do this, we will have you in our group. Dominic goes to the door of the farmhouse and steps inside, but he then sees from the window that the group is running, leaving him alone. Someone grabs him from behind. The insane farmer actually lived in the farmhouse and kept Dominic with him and considered him his son. He grows older. One day, he comes out and sees him playing with insects. He kills the bug, and Dominic punches him, and the farmer then tells him to clean the area. When he goes to clean, the stick breaks, and he becomes angry. He goes inside the farmer's secret room and finds out that the farmer has killed his parents. The farmer shows up and assaults him, but he escapes, and the farmer catches up. Dominic asks if he will kill him. He says he wants him to be stronger. Dominic goes to the door, and the farmer strikes him with an axe from behind. The farmer prepares to boil water to kill him. He raises Dominic with the chain, but he somehow manages to come back to the ground and strikes the farmer with the axe. He then raises the water temperature, puts the farmer in the water, and kills him. He then goes to his secret room and makes a mask out of human flesh. Back to the present. The light flickers again, and Dominic comes in with a syringe full of yellow spider eggs. Jay pleads with him and apologizes for his childhood trauma, but he tases him. He then asks him to put spider eggs in Kat's ears. He threatens to tase him if he doesn't. Jay has no choice but to agree. He holds her, and Jay pushes the syringe into her ear. Dominic then smashes the injured man's head on the wall. Dominic then draws a big X on Philip's picture. George and Adam fight, which Dominic sees. Moments later, he goes into the room. George plays dead on the floor. Mike sprays him with a water gun, but he doesn't even flinch. Mike gets closer to check, and George jumps up quickly and attacks him. Dominic knocks Jay to the ground. Adam jumps on Dominic's back while Kate tries to grab the water gun, but her efforts are futile as Mike throws her across the room. Mike knocks out Adam, and he then asks Kat to hold open Adam's eye, while he places a flesh-eating worm inside. The worm quickly eats Adam's eyeball. Mike is about to kill Jay, but suddenly Kat speaks certain words, and he starts having visions from his past. He picks up the water can and leaves. Adam argues that he should give him the knife so that he can save himself. Jay refuses to give up the knife. They both fight for the knife. To stop this fight, the cat hits a stone at Adam's head, but mistakenly, the knife stabs him in the mouth. Adam dies on the spot. Later, Kat points the knife at Jay and says it is all their fault, not Dominic's, because they left him in that farmhouse. Then Dominic arrives and holds Kat while taking his knife. Jay apologizes to him for what they had done to him before and says to let them leave. He confesses that they are ashamed of what they did. He convinces him with his words and takes a chance to remove his mask. He then takes the knife from his hand. Suddenly, a lot of spiders came out of Kat's mouth. Seeing this, Jay stabs Dominic from behind, but Dominic turns and the knife stabs Kat. Dominic then viciously rips Kat's body apart with the knife and pulls her heart out. Jay is the only survivor. Dominic throws the knife at him and asks him to kill him, but Jay is so scared that he runs outside the room. He manages to open the door but doesn't find the exit to the farmhouse. Dominic is behind him. He runs up the stairs, but Dominic is also coming. When Jay tries to run, Dominic attacks his leg and beats him badly. He then throws him to the ground. He tries to kill Jay by drowning him in the water, but he attacks his face with the pipe's handle. He goes into a room, and Dominic comes swinging the axe at him. Both then viciously fight each other, landing hurtful blows. Jay puts him to the ground by repeatedly hitting his head with a bucket. Finally, he goes out of the farmhouse through the window. He goes into the forest, but Dominic is still chasing him. He gives him the knife and asks him to kill him, but he refuses. Dominic then holds Jay and tries to choke him to death, but this time Jay takes the knife and stabs Dominic twice in the stomach. The wound is very serious, and due to it, he dies. Jay then moves to a nearby police station. The police then dropped him off at his home. His family was waiting for him, and he is finally happy after seeing them again. 10 years later, Jay Jay's daughters have grown up. They go to the same forest with their friends on vacation. They talk about Dominic and say that the police didn't find Dominic's dead body, which means maybe he is still alive. One friend goes to get gloves from the car. They then hear a voice from behind. All of them stand up, and another friend goes to get his car. They keep looking at the woods. Suddenly, Dominic attacks the two girls, and the movie ends. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to watch more movie recaps like this. See you in the next plot. Goodbye.